3 years ago, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was announced. When hardcore fans saw it was going to be a live service game, there was disappointment. Fans had come to love the developer Rocksteady for their critically acclaimed single-player Arkham games, and so fans were disappointed that they weren't getting another action stealth game in favor for the oversaturated live service model. Suicide Squad got rid of what many fans adored about the Arkham games. There was no longer an emphasis on stealth and hand-to-hand combat, with that being traded in for fast-paced looter-shooter mechanics and a focus on traversal. For many fans, their minds were made up when they heard the words Battle Pass. Rocksteady isn't the first studio to have a massive shift in genre. Tango Gameworks, a studio known for the Evil Within franchise, which is a survival horror game, decided to go in the opposite direction for their next game, Hi-Fi Rush.
Here, baby.
These two games are as different as can be. One is a realistic horror game with emphasis on third-person shooting mechanics, while the other is a hyper-stylized rhythm hack and slash. And it looks like it came straight out of a Saturday morning cartoon. It's fantastic. I would highly recommend playing it if you haven't already. So, how did Tango win players over? Well, they decided to surprise drop the game, where the studio was applauded for its massive departure, and Hi-Fi Rush was able to carve out its own identity completely separate from the developer's previous games. While Suicide Squad very much lives in the shadow of the Arkham games. It makes a few references to previous events in the games. However, it's a bit gray on whether the game actually takes place in the same universe. But let's take another example. Hi-Fi Rush and The Evil Within are both single-player action games, and at a core, that's fans might be able to enjoy those aspects for each. But let's look at a studio that was able to shift from being an acclaimed storytelling and single-player game studio to a multiplayer live service battle royale. The year is 2019, and the battle royale genre has been in full swing. Fortnite has been out for at least 2 years, and games like PUBG have been dominating the Steam charts. And it has been 3 years since Respawn Entertainment released their critically acclaimed Titanfall 2. However, it was a financial failure, and Respawn knew if they announced that their next big game was going to be a live service game with a battle pass, core fans would be very upset. This isn't what fans wanted from their studio. They loved the fast octane traversal mechanics, and their next game wasn't really going to feature that. And they were even going to take out the main thing that gave Titanfall 2 its identity, the Titans. So, in a similar fashion to Hi-Fi Rush, on February 4th, Apex Legends was surprise launched. The same day the trailer they made the announcement that the game existed, the game was not launched. The Apex Legends took the internet by surprise, and they were able to take control of the narrative that this isn't Titanfall 3 to wow, check out this new game that came out of nowhere. The key thing that Respawn and Tango understood was player expectations. They knew they weren't making a game that fans wanted, but it was a concept they were passionate about. Arturo Castro, Senior Director of Brand Marketing on Apex Legends, had this to say. Really, if marketers are worth anything, they're able to really understand what players' expectations are. In a rapidly changing space of how players are consuming entertainment or any type of media, the expectations of how they consume and also the brands they consume are paramount. Now, I haven't even played Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, and this wasn't really a critique of its gameplay or story, but rather player expectations. Breaking the mold and redefining a studio's identity is hard, especially when your fans want a certain type of game from you. But it is possible to carve out a new identity and surprise players with something they didn't know they even wanted. And Apex Legends and Hi-Fi Rush are great examples of studios breaking the mold.